I swear there is no better way to tell the difference between Democrat and Republican than look at their presidential libraries.
Okay, the networks are down, the equipment is ready, and we've crippled their supplies. Mrs. Rackman has written our check and given us the green light. We're good to finally move on that submarine and stop this threat once and for all. When you're ready, get your crew together and head back to planning.
So the building doesn't collapse into the ocean. But there will be a room dedicated to lawfare and the raid on Mar-a-Lago and the 4 indictments and the 90 felony charges with a giant picture of the only mugshot ever taken of an American president in history and the greatest comeback in American presidential politics. And Donald Trump's not going to open the library on Juneteenth. He's going to open it on the 4th of July. And instead of overlooking a neighborhood filled with residents who hate him, the Trump Library is overlooking the warm waters of Biscayne Bay. But the media, no matter what, are going to slobber all over the Obama library and criticize Donald Trump's. And it's already happening. Here's a headline. Barack Obama pioneers new approach to presidential library. I'm not sure what the approach is. Hire a bunch of people to pour concrete 8 stories high and call it a library. I suppose that's a new approach. The LA Times writing about the Obama's forward-looking library. Guys, it is a pile of concrete with a basketball court. That's not forward-looking. It's a cheap high school gym. Now compare that to what the Washington Post said about the future Trump library. Trump wants a library. He must never have one. And how about this woman today? Honestly, I am not trying to be cruel to one of my colleagues, but this woman looks and sounds like moments before being forced to do this report, she was in the middle of a hugely invasive medical procedure.
And President Trump is sharing a video of what his presidential library could look like one day. The digital rendering shows the presidential library skyscraper in Miami with Trump's name on the top. The plane gifted to the president by Qatar appears to be in the lobby next to a golden escalator. You can also see a larger-than-life golden Trump statue there. No word if the ideas are officially being considered.
Hey, how can I help?
Hot today. She had the fastball going
Yep,
today.
sure.
How about that? I mean, the excitement just pouring out of that woman right there. Unbelievable. Give her a raise. Get her promoted. You know what's funny? Barack Obama was president 10 years ago. Trump is still president. What about the Democrat who just left office? What about Joe Biden's library? Where's that going to happen? Where are they going to build that? Like the back of an ice cream shop? Or maybe at the southern border, you could call it the Joe Biden Presidential Library and Welcome Center. That would make sense. That he can't even raise enough money to build a library. Meaning what would likely happen, the guy who apparently got 81 million votes in the 2020 election, more than any other candidate in history, will end up with a room somewhere in the basement at the University of Delaware. I'm not kidding. Like near the gender-neutral bathroom.
Yeah.
And that will be the Joe Biden Presidential Library. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not. It's already happening. Here's the headline. It's gotten that bad for Joe Biden. Biden chooses Delaware for his presidential library as his team turns to raising money for it, and they are struggling. And we're hearing the library is going to open on the 3rd Sunday of July, better known as National Ice Cream Day. Doesn't that make sense? Admission will be free, and you will also get a free ice cream cone, which we think will attract dozens of non-Biden family members to that big event, which of course will feature a Dr. Jill room. Because Dr. Jill was so darn important to our nation during that presidency. Information.
$100 million deportations would be ethnic cleansing. You would be removing 1/3 of the country. So yes, there are people within the Department of Homeland Security.
And you don't think this is hyperbolic? Give me 30 more seconds.
This right here is how it's done. Senator Kennedy at his best. He is debunking all the lies that this Democratic witness has to say by using that witness's own words from social media against him. You gotta check this out.
Secretary Wolf, thank you for your service. Why, in your opinion, do so many, not all, but so many of my Democratic colleagues believe in open borders?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's a couple of different fronts. One, it would be they don't believe in immigration law. They don't like enforcement. They don't like removing of individuals. And they believe that there are some that believe that anyone and everyone should be able to come to the U.S., whether they apply for protections under U.S. law or not. And then there's some probably that would like to see more voters in the U.S. as well.
Ms. Vaughn, some of my colleagues, for whom I have great respect, believe that the 10th Amendment allows local governments to ignore federal immigration law and implement sanctuary policy, a pernicious form of racial discrimination. Can local governments ignore that ruling under the 10th Amendment?
Well, the 10th Amendment is
And
about.
can they, just answer my question, please, ma'am.
The 10th Amendment is about commandeering, and so
Can
it's
the
not
10th
really appropriate to this
Is
because.
the answer yes or no, ma'am?
Could you ask me again, because I don't understand the relevance to. I'm sorry, I don't. Because if
Secretary
the place is not asking.
Secretary Wolf, you heard my question. Under the guise of the 10th Amendment, can local governments ignore Supreme Court ruling?
I don't believe they can.
Okay. Women have the right to vote in America by statute
Yes.
and by constitutional interpretation. Under the guise of the 10th Amendment, can local governments just ignore that and prohibit women from voting?
No.
Okay. Mr. Duke, you worked for President Biden and Vice President Harris, didn't you?
Yes.
And I listened carefully to your testimony today. You expressed, well, you offered the opinion that the One Big Beautiful Bill is terrible in part because it will cause deficits. Is that right?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that the profligacy of President Biden caused 9% inflation in America?
No.
Okay. Isn't it a fact that if President Biden had discovered life on Mars when he was president, he would have immediately sent it money?
I don't believe so.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, I appreciate your newly found fiscal conservatism. Mr. Beer, you seem to be a very smart guy, and you seem to be a nice enough guy.
Thank you, Senator. You seem smart as well.
Jared.
Don't
That was the chairman, not me.
Don't you think your hyperbolic statements undermine your credibility?
What hyperbolic statement did I make?
On February the 11th, 2026, you posted on Bluesky, quote, my words, or your words, not mine. The Democrats' video telling service members to ignore illegal orders didn't go far enough. They should have also urged them to refuse unethical orders, whether illegal or not. There are many things.
I'm cool. I saw many times they called my girlfriend out here the damn phone. Ring was off. I ain't nothing. I said, oh, I ain't get to talk to my friend. Talk her to sleep. So again, you was halfway there. Yeah. You told me that.